This video will show you how to mix your metal recordings so that they sound huge. I will now pass you on to Mr. Beaver while I slap my beef over Susan Boyle. Oh, Susan. Oh, Susan.
Cheers, Def. Right then, we're going to start this off with the drums, as any good metal sound relies heavily on the drum sound. For this example, I'm using 2 tracks Metal Foundry Expansion. I've wrote a little MIDI loop in the piano roll for the drums, and we'll just play this so you can hear what the default settings with no EQ, no nothing on Superior. Okay, it's a great sounding kit to start with. However, that's not going to work in a mix. It needs a lot of work doing to it. So let's get down to the most important elements. I'll start by soloing the kick drum. Okay, it's very flat sounding, so we want to make this punchy. We also want to give it depth and give it a more 3-dimensional image without it completely overtaking the mix. Let's open up an EQ. We'll start in the kick area. In the lower area. We'll start in the bass area. We'll give it around 60 hertz. Let's give it a boost. Let's narrow that Q, because that's, if you don't narrow the Q, it opens up the spectrum too wide. No need to be so aggressive. Okay. Now we want to set up another band. Let's get this right down, and we want to cut this. Because anything in this range here, really below 40, you're not really going to hear. You might feel it, but in general, it's a good idea to cut around here. Right, now I want to create some space around the 200 hertz mark. We need some space for the rest of the mix, so we want to give the impression of a big fat drum without it actually taking up all of the spectrum. We're going to need this area for other instruments to cut through. Now, for the top end, basically your kick, your snap of the whole bass drum comes from this top end area. Okay, so let's compare that. Let's bypass it. And back on. For now, that'll work. I'll end up EQing this again when all the instruments are in place to fine tune it, but as a starting point, that works. Let's go to the snare top skin. Again, that sounds really flat. Let's put an EQ on it. Now, because the bass drum was taking up a lot of these lower frequencies, I'm just going to cut them. Not quite that much. Let's change the frequency to around 50. That will do. Now again, I want to give this some top end. And again, create some space here. Now remember, this is just the top skin. Let's bypass that. And back on. It's a little more hi-fi. Okay. Now I'm also going to add, let's close that. I'm also going to add to this some transients, just to give it a bit more attack, more snap, because the snap's the first thing you're going to hear, and give it a little bit more sustained. That's nice. Let's check that with the mix. That's cutting cool. Let's bypass it. It's definitely improved. Right. Now, actually, I'm also going to put some transients on the kick drum while I'm out, just to give it a little bit more snap again. Again, all this will be adjusted, fine-tuned when the rest of the instruments are in place. We just want a good starting point. Okay. Let's get a bottom snare. Now, we'll put an EQ on this. The only thing I'm really concerned about with, I just want to hear the snares, so we'll cut everything below here, and it doesn't need much of a boost. Put that with the top skin. Bit much. Okay, that'll do for now. That snare's really kicking through now. It still has its body. Now, the cymbals sound really nice, as is. I'm going to put a little bit of top end on the hi-hats and room mics. They really don't need that much, just a sparkle, but I'll leave that to the last, because that's really when we're going to know how much of it we need. So for now, if I close Superior, for now, that will be it. We'll move on to guitars.